Peace to the famo out there in motherfucking Facebook land. This is another goddamn Facebook Live radio, right? The topic for the night is colorism under white domination, right? And if y'all want to be a part of the conversation, you can call in at 716-293-7071. The PIN number is 89197. Again, you want to be a part of the goddamn conversation on colorism under white domination? The call-in number is 716-293-7071. The PIN number is 89197. But first, we're going to start this motherfucker off and kick it off with the famo from motherfucking PA, the president of the Rotten Club. We'll be right back.
President, talk to him.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Why? 'Cause it's in your fucking mind.
Everything is an illusion that you see with your eyes. Until your third one is open and you see through the lies. Read between the lines, unveil the truth. Inspired with like minds and reveal the proof. Who controls this and who controls that? Symbolism being used, are you aware of that? Nope, you brainwashed from within. Disconnect from the matrix, let the programming in. Think I'm on some movie shit, then you're still plugged in. Microchip for your arm, you can check out. Yup. That one flew right over your head, because I know half the planet is mentally dead or mentally slick. Zombies controlled by the beat. Not me, my Pinot clan is calcium free. Dig it, let the truth be told. It's worth its weight in gold. Some sell their souls just to know. Off code, off code, off code, off code, off code. Off code, off code, off code, off code, off code.
Peace, we back. Another motherfucking Facebook Live radio. Again, if you want to be a part of the conversation, dial in at 716-293-7071. PIN number 89197. We got the famo Alvin, CRS from Black Star, Courtney Rich, Team Offset. Got the famo Allen on the line. And like I said, today's topic is colorism under white domination, right? And so to start this shit off, I want to play a clip of something that I came across with, fuck is their name? Tank and Genuine, talking about Tyrese. So here we go.
Tyrese, where you at, nigga?
You look like a king.
Yeah.
You look
like a king.
You look like you've been doing this for quite some
Tyrese, where you at, dog?
Well, I think he's here. We can't see him. The shadows.
Okay. He looked like under the bed.
Yeah, he looked.
Uh-oh, technical difficulties. Let me go back to this shit. So everybody can hear exactly what the fuck they was talking about, right?
Tyrese, where you at, nigga?
You look like a king.
Yeah.
You
look like a king.
You look like you've been doing this for quite some
Tyrese, where you at, dog?
Well, I think he's here. We can't see him. The shadows.
Okay. He looked like under the bed.
Yeah, he looked.
He looks like under the goddamn bed, right? He looks like the shadows. Now, how about this? We're gonna go to Courtney Rich first, and give us your point of view on this topic and shit. Colorism under white domination, famo.
Well, I didn't hear the recording, so it's kind of hard for me to give my feedback on that.
Matter of fact, we'll do this then. Let me let you hear it again, right? I'm gonna do it right now.
It's very low, so I can't.
You tell me in the middle of it if you could hear it, if it's low or not, all right?
Okay.
Or in the beginning, rather.
Tyrese, where you at, nigga?
You look like a king.
Yeah. You look like a king.
You look like you've been doing this for
Tyrese, where you at, dog?
Well, I think he's here. We can't see him. The shadows.
Okay. He looked like under the bed.
Yeah, he looked.
It's still kind of low. It's still low.
Okay, well, pretty much they was talking shit about Tyrese, asking him where you at, where you at. Tank says he looks like he's in the shadows and shit. Genuine turns around and says he looks like under the bed. Your thoughts?
Wow. I think it's pretty despicable. Like I'm pretty sure that they thought that they could be they thought it was funny and maybe that it was in jest, but that's ridiculous.
Dig it. Alvin, what's your thoughts on that shit, famo?
In that particular context, I got a little mixed feelings, right? Because I don't know if Tyrese was in the room with him or not, but he would probably be laughing with him. Then he might say, Genuine, get your potato salad, skin looking dress at, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's light skin jokes people be making too, you know what I'm saying? So within that particular context of, brothers playing the dozens and just laughing and joking, in that situation, it seems kind of benign. Now, if it was a little more serious, like, dark-skinned dudes is known to do this and that, and that's why we're superior because we don't, then I would take it a little bit more serious. But within that particular context of like playing the dozens, I don't necessarily have a problem with it like that if it's in that kind of setting.
Appreciate that. We're gonna go to Alan. Alan, you there, famo?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead, give us your take on this, on what you just heard. Could you hear it? Because Courtney said she couldn't hear the shit.
It was. I mean, I could hear it, but I couldn't really get the gist of what was really going on. I heard him say, "You look like under the bed." I knew that to be a jab at somebody, but I couldn't hear everybody clearly. But I think I got the gist of it, though.
Mm-hmm. Go in.
Oh yeah. It was just basically, I mean, that's run of the mill. You got black folks talking about colors amongst one another and everything, and I don't see that as a problem. I look at us doing that all day, every day. That's not my big thing. That's not my issue because you got light-skinned black folks, you got dark-skinned black folks. I mean, here's the first thing. I think the whole point and premise of the conversation is: are we looking at people who feel like they're closer to being so-called white folks as opposed to not being white folks? Are we looking at people who think that certain qualities put them closer to being with the people that are in control? I think that's what we're seeing. So for me, we can go back to Africa, man, and we can look at the Khoisan people, whatever you want to call them. And these are light-skinned people who've never left Africa, with peasy heads, broad noses, fat lips, and everything like that. And they still lighter than the majority of people that you'll see on the continent. We can look at albino black folks, peasy headed, even though the hair may be blonde or whatever, and also with what you call broad noses and big lips. I mean, black people run the gamut, but see, the problem here is when we talk about colorism, it's really hard. Colorism was something that the imperialists gave us. I think what we have to do is define what is a black person. See, and that's the reason for all of this drama right here, right now. Nobody's ever defined what a black person is. I don't think anybody on the phone, anybody in the conversation can sit down and tell you what is a black person. So until we get a definitive line between what is black and what is not black, we're not going to really have anything to go off of. We're just going to be talking about colorism for the sake of colorism. We're going to be talking about who's light and who's dark for the sake of who's light and who's dark. But we need a basis for, even if you light, even if you dark, do you still come up under the umbrella of being black? And those are my thoughts on it.
Bet that. Them good points. I mean, I've seen conversations like one time I seen a conversation with Dr. Umar Johnson. I think he was on the Breakfast Club, and he was mentioning some Bam, and he said, "Oh, he's not really black." And on the flip side, I've seen someone, another victim, just like not unlike myself, Oh God from In the Black Radio, him and Seti going back and forth and shit. And on one particular one, he said, what the fuck he say? You just a light-skinned nigga. You know what I'm saying? They'd kill my black ass just like they'd kill your yellow ass. Now, for me, that's double think like a motherfucker. And for the listening audience, if you want to know what that is, go look it up. Double think. Right? So we got KK Hype 6 in on this motherfucker now. So we'll go to her next. What's your thoughts on the topic tonight, famo? Colorism under white domination.
I think it's very unfortunate that it's something that impacts us severely to the point where we end up resenting each other over or envying each other over, whether there's a black person that's lighter brown or dark brown. I met some black people that wanted to be lighter brown who were dark brown, and I met some who were light brown that wanted to be dark brown. And a lot of them even resort to bleaching cream. My family, they're from the island, so that seems to be something that happens a lot over there, unfortunately, where they bleach their skin and doing all these crazy things, wearing long sleeves, even though they live in a hot climate, and sarin wrapping their body with bleaching cream and even putting it on their private area just to be lighter, and they say it's fashion over style, or it's the trend, and even black males are following. I remember being in the beauty supply store, and there was 2 black males and 1 black female, and they were so-called Jamaican, and the 2 black males, they were comparing and contrasting the bleaching cream ingredients of 2 different brands. And, but making the purchase. So, it's crazy, but a lot of us are impacted by these things.
Absolutely.
Could I comment on something you said, bro?
Hold on, wait a minute, 1 second. We got Suresh here, you know what I'm saying, of Black Star. And before we get to the famo, I want to take a bit of time to promote his products. And y'all go check them out. We'll be right back. back. You know, all of the information y'all need to hook up with a Ciresh and purchase some of its products. You saw it on the goddamn screen. And we got a couple of viewers on in Facebook land and shit. If y'all want to come and be a part of the Facebook Live radio, you can call in at 716-293-7071, PN number 89197. Now we're going to go to the famo of Ciresh. You there, famo?
Most definitely, most definitely. Peace to the Pheromos, peace to the panel. Appreciate that plug, bruh. My perspective on the topic colorism. You know, first I like to deal with the definition. So the listening audience and the viewers, if you don't know the definition of colorism, that as far as what white supremacy give us to go off of. Colorism is the prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a darker skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. So, with that being said, we gave a couple of examples of it. We also, the brother Alvin, described as far as the situation, talking about the video that, it can come from a different perspective as far as male may be playing the dozens on each other, but as far as the females, I feel like that's an issue as far as the darker skin females feeling some type of way because of light skinned females saying some type of things. I think Tommy Sotomayor had did an experiment. He actually said that dark skinned women are the most beautiful, and he got it was a lot of praise going on behind that. The next day, I think he said it was light skinned females was the most beautiful. Then it was like, he was, this, that, and the third. So I think, at the end of the day, we all understand that we are confused underneath white supremacy, racism, domination, and we dealing with a lot of psychological and mental issues that would never resolve when we were so-called freed from slavery. So, this is just the residue that we are seeing right now as far as colorism. And that's all I got to say right now. I yield to panel.
Absolutely. Now, Alvin brought something to my attention. Now, I'm going to put this shit up on the screen and read it. And then we're going to go back to Alvin and get his commentary. I hope y'all can see that shit, and I'm going to read it. It says, now who in their right mind will sleep with something that black? I mean, they call us black people, but damn, I bet you can't find that dusty ass nigga in the dark. I bet that nigga blends in with coal. I bet that nigga smiles is like a flashlight. Ugh. Black women have no standards. They sleep with any niggas these days. Right? Now we're going to go to Alvin. Go in on that shit, famo.
Now, that's good because it's segue. Now, let me tell you why I feel what she said right there is different from what I seen, the video you played with Genuine and Tyrese. With the video with Genuine and Tyrese, with Genuine and Tank, they didn't necessarily say because you're black, you're ugly and undesirable. They pretty much just said you just black as hell and then gave descriptions about how black he was. They didn't necessarily say whether it was good or bad, right? And it was more so in a playful manner, right? And I'm also going to reference what you said somebody told you or somebody else said something else where he was like, you just a light-skinned nigga and this and that. See, now if they was talking like that, now it's not just playing the dozens. Now it's like a serious thing where it's a problem that you're light-skinned because of XYZ. Or somebody said you just a dark-skinned nigga, I mean, you dumb. Like, in that context, I got issues with that context, right? And I have issues with the context in which this sister is saying it because she's not just, if she just left it with this post and said, that nigga black is midnight, god damn. And if that was just a post, I'd be like, okay, you playing the dozens, right? I mean, she just said that dude black as hell, but she throws the extra sauce on it with the he's undesirable, and then saying a black woman is lowering her standards by being with somebody that black. Now you done crossed over into something else. So I do think context matter, because I don't want to be so politically correct to where you can't even joke around about some stuff. But at the same time, when you see a post like this, I think that you're just taking it too far. So the Tank and Genuine video, I don't got a real issue with that. This post right here, I got real problems with.
I understand. Well put. Anybody else got comments on this Bath's take on what she calls, black ass dusty niggas?
Maybe she wasn't thinking about that statement, but if black females are lowering their standards to sleep with a black male that is dark brown, such as him, I don't know if she forgot or not, but it was a black female that gave birth to that. So says a lot about her psyche, I guess. It goes into what you said about beauty standards and under white domination, and definitely black females, they pass this down to their children because ultimately they want to be accepted into society and they want to be beautiful. So of course they don't want to procreate with a black male who is dark brown such as him, because they want a child who will be lighter, that will be deemed as beautiful, and that will have access to things that they probably can't because they're not of that beauty standard. Life will be easier, I suppose.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Alan, Courtney, Sear?
What was the definition of colorism again?
Go ahead, get that to
The
him.
definition of colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, so basically what's happening is we're looking at the actions of victims. The victims of anti-blackness. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. I don't have anything to say about what victims of anti-blackness do. I don't have any critique or anything else for what victims of anti-blackness are into, because that's par for the course. First of all, the way the mind works is the mind is a problem solver. That's what we have a mind for. Our mind, everybody's mind, no matter who you are, works to solve problems. Okay, so we're in a situation where we're in prison. We're in prison for being so-called black. All right. Now, nobody on the panel, nobody in life, nobody but me and a couple of other people have a definition for what a black person is. Okay, that's not to be boastful. That's not to brag. I'm just saying, if anybody has a definition for what a black person is, please let it be known, because I want to hear it. It may be better than mine. But we all know
one of the reasons why I'm advocating the dark.
Not necessarily dark is the problem, because you got people on the continent of India that's blacker than any nigga that you ever seen in your whole life, and they don't go through the same struggles as you do. Okay? So what we looking at is the mind operating to solve a problem that it's having. The problem that it's having is a problem with being a so-called black person. Now, you can get into shades and who's dark and who's light. I'm pretty sure that the niggas on the continent was tripping over, hey, man, you see the light-skinned African that was looking at a dark-skinned African and said, hey, man, you look crazy, nigga. And he said, hey, you look crazy too. I'm sure that went on. But what I'm saying is, we in prison. We locked up right now. We locked up in a system that says everything black is bad. So therefore, when it comes to so-called colorism or between your own color, look, I don't care what black people say about each other. What I need to know is, are we talking about black people? And the question is yes. So we're talking about black people mistreating other black people. That's something that goes on all day, every day under the system of anti-blackness. If that cat that was sitting up in the bed had straight hair and looked like VJ Singh, the golf player, somebody would have said he's dark, but it wouldn't have meant the same thing as saying he's black and crusty. It wouldn't have meant the same thing as when Tariq Nasheed ran up in there on the conversation with Tommy Sotomayor and called him crispy. See, it doesn't mean the same thing, and we know it doesn't mean the same thing. We know that it means something detrimental. We know that it means something hurtful. It means something hurtful because we know the people that told us that it meant something hurtful. Okay? So, colorism, what victims do amongst one another, I'm not really tripping on. The question is, why? And the why has got to do with the people that told you was black in the first place. I'm done.
Absolutely. Very motherfucking cogent, because we don't never talk about white people in this shit. I put that shit in the description for a reason. Colorism under white domination. I'm not just talking about other victims and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, which I happen to agree with. You're in a goddamn prison. Either that's true or it's not. If it's not true, prove it. Don't just talk to me. Don't talk me to goddamn death. Right? Courtney, did you hear me reading that goddamn post from a bath and shit?
Yeah, I seen it.
Okay, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, I think, unfortunately, that when we have these conversations about colorism, it's usually very one-sided. And we always talk about how colorism affects darker skinned people, as if lighter skinned people don't or don't feel the effects of it either.
True.
I mean, obviously, what's going on in that post is I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, I think for us here in America, I think we look at colorism and we kind of trivialize it and downplay it more so because it doesn't, not to say it doesn't have an effect on us here, but like I think KK pointed out earlier, in other parts of the world, the color of your skin actually really limits your opportunities. Like you really won't get a job because you're dark skinned. So you really won't get a certain opportunity because of your skin tone. It goes beyond people making fun of the color of your skin on a Facebook post. And we should understand that this all started as something that white people introduced to us. I don't believe that, I don't know, the brother pointed out earlier, I don't believe that on the continent we was making fun of each other because of our skin tones. Like I don't think somebody was looking at someone else saying, hey, you dusty and you look like underneath the bed or a shadow in the corner. Like, I don't think that that's something that it could have happened, but I don't think that that's the way we more so thought about each other. I think that those are definitely things and attitudes that we have towards each other because of white supremacy. Everybody knows about the paper bag test. That wasn't necessarily something that we introduced. That was introduced to us. So, I'm not sure, about defining what's black, how that fits into this conversation, because whether we define what's black and what it means to be black or not, people still suffer from colorism. And it's not just black people. It's like people all over, non-white people all over the world do this kind of shit to each other. So
absolutely. We having a motherfucking build over here on motherfucking Facebook Live Radio, right? We got Kansu that came back on the panel, and we want to get his thoughts on the conversation that's being spoken about thus far. If you heard the shit, I don't know. Colorism under white domination. We also read something from a BAF that was supplied by Alvin via Facebook. You there, Consul?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Did you hear the post? Did you hear me reading the post from the BAF on Facebook?
Yeah, I see the picture on your screen.
Go ahead, give us your commentary on that shit, famo.
It's just ignorance. I think it's just a woman that's ignorant and not, not aware of her present day situation. That how dark or whatever it is really not going to change her present status of being socially, politically, physically, and mentally oppressed. It's not going to change it. Is she right or wrong? Well, she's misguided. And I think that she probably just don't see the forest for the trees. It just won't matter whether she doesn't like dark-skinned people or doesn't not. Whether she does or doesn't, because we got bigger fish to fry. I think that this is the very example of white supremacy and the way that it causes us to argue with each other and have a reason to split hairs. When the white supremacists don't care what shade of non-white you are, they're going to treat you the same way all non-white people are treated.
Yes. Under white domination, a nigger is a nigger is a nigger. Non-white is non-white, non-white. Is that what you're saying, pretty much?
Yes. Yeah.
Bet that. Let me take this shit down right quick. I'm going to play another clip. It seems like the panel may not be able to hear this shit, but the listening audience will, and I'll, give commentary around what's being said. This particular one I took from a rap battle with two BAFs. Different complexions, of course. And I'll just play this for the listening audience, and then we'll come back and comment on it. Let's see.
You pregnant by my ex, dick, I should be mad at you, bitch. But I ain't mad, though. I would've sent that little nigga a gift and signed off. It's because of me, little nigga, you even exist. Real shit. But I'm on point. My target is shoe knee. Direct hit. I'm blowing off. Shoe knees. Cause even with that hit, you still ain't half of me cause you light skin ugly and I'm dark and lovely. Sorry.
So she tells the BAF she's light-skinned ugly and she's dark-skinned lovely. Right? So I saw Alvin came off mute and shit. Go ahead, let me hear your commentary on that, famo.
So again, now the context is a rap battle. Okay? And in a rap battle, anything that is considered offensive, that's what you throw at your opponent. So within that context, I almost don't have a problem considering it is a rap battle, and that's kind of what it is. So all the reasons to call your opponent ugly, whether they be right or wrong, you're going to use in that context because the whole thing is to embarrass who you're battling at that moment. So even though I don't like it, but I get it with that premise within that context. Because to me, context does matter. Now, if this is just a casual, walking around, it's not a rap battle, and it's just a conversation like, listen, because you're light-skinned, you are ugly. And it's not in the context of playing the dozens or rap battle. They're just having a serious conversation about light-skinned people and dark-skinned people. Then that changes it to me, right? And nobody has to answer this now, but I did have a question for the panel, maybe after everybody talks about that video just played. Maybe we'll get back to this, but is it okay for black men and women to say this? Like, hey, I think there's nothing wrong with being dark skinned. I think there's nothing wrong with being light skinned. It doesn't make you any less of a man or a woman. But me, I just typically am attracted to light skinned people. You know, like I honestly can't help the fact that I'm only attracted to light skinned people and I'm not attracted to dark skinned people. I don't think dark skinned people are bad. It's just sexually, I'm more attracted to light skinned people, and vice versa. Are other people wrong to say, hey, I don't think there's nothing wrong with being light skinned or dark skinned, but my sexual preference is somebody dark skinned? Now, is that an issue of brainwashing or something they can't genuinely help? It's just a preference, so to speak, and maybe we can get on that, you know what I'm saying, after we go around the panel. But yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
At that. Anyone else? Alan, KK, Kansu, Courtney, Rush.
Yeah, I just want
In
to say
regards to what
that.
Alvin said. Oh, sorry. No, go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Okay. I just want to know what problem does colorism present? Because it doesn't present a problem for me.
I explained that in America, we may not really view it as a problem because it doesn't limit us in a way that it limits other people in other countries. So the example I use was KK, which she talked about her family's from the Caribbean. Well, if you have families from the Caribbean, or if you know a lot of people, or any group of people from the Caribbean, they will tell you that having dark skin in a lot of instances limits your opportunities. That if you're going for a job, you could be more qualified than a light-skinned person, but a light-skinned person will get that job. So although, we see documentaries.
Wait. But the thing is, as far as the job is concerned, there's no, black people's not handing out jobs out here. And the definition that we have for colorism was prejudice amongst the so-called same group. So as far as black people arguing about who's light and who's dark, that presents no problem for me. The problem for me is for the people.
Right, but I just said that it's not just about arguing. Right, and it's not just about arguing. If you're, like I said, if it's something as trivial as posting a post on Facebook, then it presents somewhat of a problem. But if you're trying to eat, okay, if you're somewhere you're trying to survive, and your chances of survival depend on buying some bleach, you might consider buying some bleach. It's not just an aesthetic type thing, like, oh, well, I want to look, maybe that's part of it, but some people do it for that reason. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about
that has nothing to do with black people and what they're talking about. That has nothing to do with black folks talking about who's light and who's dark. That has to do with the system of anti-blackness.
Hold on.
I'm just wondering how you're making that distinction, though, of how it matters and how it doesn't.
1 second. Let's do this one at a time. Courtney, you say your piece, then you come in, Alan. We'll come to you next, but allow Courtney to finish her commentary. Go ahead, Courtney.
Right there.
What I said, and I don't want to keep saying the same thing. If we're talking about something as trivial as a Facebook post, then no, it really, in the big scheme of things, doesn't matter, okay? But if you're talking about situations where people's livelihoods are dependent upon the shade of black that they are, then it becomes a completely different conversation. And what the other example that I gave, or the other things that I said, is that this is something that goes on between non-white people all over the world. It's not just so-called black people who do this. Indians do it, Asians do it. Non-black people do this. And this is not something that I think personally is something that we introduced amongst each other. I think this is something that Europeans introduced to us, and we carry it on, even if it is in a Facebook post. we carry it, and we've been carrying it. So, I mean, whether you want to say you don't care, I mean, that's your opinion. You know, he's entitled to his opinion. Whether you want to say you don't care about it because you don't care about what people who have anti-black sentiment, you know, there are people who consider themselves to be pro-black who have anti-black sentiment. So I don't know. I guess it's up to, you know, however you feel is important.
Go in, Alan.
Oh yeah, what I'm saying is, as far as victims are concerned, black people talking about amongst themselves, and I'm talking about black people. But once again, we don't have a definition for what a black person is. We don't have that. Okay, so we know that right off the bat. But what I mean is us talking about each other, whether it did or didn't happen on the continent or this, that, and the third. It really, look, doesn't matter. Black people are not the barrier for other black people. Okay? And when I talk about non-black, when I say the system of anti-blackness, what non-black means is everything else, every other color can change. In other words, you used to have Irish people with red hair and blue eyes and green eyes. Now they're white. You used to have Spanish that are white. You got Greeks that are now white. So everything else changes, but the one thing that never ever changes is who's black and who's not. And so down here at the bottom, down here in the belly of the slave ship, we sit around and we argue about certain things. It's the same thing as arguing about the new car that I bought to go show it to another black person. That's the same thing as you light and I'm dark and you light. It's the same thing. It's show-offism on the same damn level. That's what colorism means. It's show-offism. If somebody comes out and says, man, you know what, I'm dark and lovely, you light and ugly. We're talking about show-offism. It was in a rap battle that we just saw. These cats was in here talking mad-ish in order to see who could, you know, who looked the best. But we're at the bottom, and when it comes to other people and other individuals, and we're talking about, what happens with all non-white people over the planet, every other group of so-called non-white people have the ability to join the white club at some point. And you can look on your census right now, and you can see that they used to be brown, now it's white Latino. Now it's black Latino. There's an option. Everybody else has an option. But the people that are sitting around with certain features, so-called features, that are black, that can't escape from it, are down here at the bottom. So what do we argue about? We argue about what we're going to do. Now, when you say, we can't get, you might not be able to get a job, you might not be able to get this, you might not be able to get that, that's because a person that you consider to be so-called non-white is white now. That's what I'm looking at in California. That's what I'm seeing in California. I'm seeing people that were supposedly non-white doing exactly what white folks have trained them to do. That's what I'm looking at, because now they're in the club. See, everything is fluid. Every other color is fluid. So what we need to do, man, and we have to do it in order to eliminate confusion code, is we have to define what is a black person. And when we do that, then that's when we can say, yeah, we got two folks over here talking about different color, but everybody's black. Now, colorism came about because you had a person who thought they could pass, and you had a person that they thought could not pass. And the thing is, we had no way to define that. That's what's going on over here right now. I'm done.
Bet that.
Okay, that is like, that's not how colorism came about. Like, I don't, and I think, you know what, it's all right. I could agree to disagree. I don't think that anything that I said was addressed. I think a lot of what I said was not addressed. And unfortunately, it seems that the perspective that the brother's coming from is limited and linear. He's talking about people here in America. I'm talking about people across the diaspora. Talk to someone who's from Jamaica. Talk to someone who's from Barbados. Talk to someone who's from Trinidad and ask them how colorism has affected their life on those islands. And see if you get the same response that you're going to get from somebody that's from freaking Detroit. It's not the same.
Absolutely. You know what? Let me chime in for a second, right?
Thanks.
You know, we talking about colorism under white domination. You know, I'm thinking about it, and you know, I'll concede I could be inaccurate about this shit. Just taking into consideration what Courtney said, the views on this shit varies from person to person. Some of them do correlate. You feel me? And specifically when you go into motherfucking sexes, male and female, then it really gets different. You feel me? Because, you know, you're talking about colorism. A lot of that color shit is associated with so-called beauty. You know, and I asked this question before in the fucking video. What the fuck is beauty good for? What does it produce? Who does it produce for? Right? Because if we pay attention to the conversations we have when we do have these conversations, it's more so talking about some kind of a status and shit and how a motherfucker looks and what they can and what they can't get. Specifically, I've more so heard it in my personal life from Baths. Now, I don't know every Bath. You know, I'm here in motherfucking Detroit. You know. And when you talk about it from when I've heard it spoken about from BAMs and shit, you know, it's just like what Courtney said again. Well, a piece of what she said. It's almost like motherfuckers getting teased because they are lighter or darker. The shit just goes back and forth. However, I still do understand what Alan is saying. That, you know, the elephant in the room again, the people who gave it to us. That we've inculcated their ideas and shit. A lot of this shit ain't gonna, you know, us bickering back and forth about colorism is not gonna stop white domination. And I suspect that's part of why I had the show or the program the other night talking about, are you afraid of white people? Because we don't want to address them too much. Not too much. We use a lot of safe language and shit. You know what I'm saying? We say they instead of white people and stuff like that. We know we do that shit. You listening to this shit. If you listening to this shit, you know we do that shit. You know, so
could I answer a question that the brother my bad, this Tina on here, Tina ain't get to speak yet. You got a question for her?
Yeah, hold on. Let me say something real quick, man. Let me get up in this, man. Let me double dutch. I said a lot. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna start off all the way back with what Alvin said that you know, as far as the jokes, and then like I wanted to say on that part is that I think that is an issue because that is what desensitizes us. Just like how we got these video games and these movies. You know, I just left Chicago. You know, now I'm in Cincinnati, so it's like, you know, the desensit. You know, it's just a crime. I mean, you know, the people used to this shit. It's nothing. So it's like with the jokes about, you know, this, that, and the third. I put the video link in the back chat as far as when we watched the movie Don't Be a Menace with Bernie Mac, you know, with the whole I hate my black gun, I hate, you know, this, that, and, you know, we laugh and it's funny, but at the same time on the overall, that I think that it ain't funny and it's just desensitizing us, and then because, you know, we get used to it to a point that, you know, we start, you know, using that as weapons against each other, and that was an all black film. You know, that was created by black people. So, you know, I mean, and then, you know, I think I wanted to jump in so much. I think as far as what Courtney was saying, as far as the whole light skin over there, you know, my people from Trinidad, and I just look at it as that's just a place that's stuck in like the 30s and 40s. So they still on that. What our grandparents had to go through here with that paper bag protest type shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was here, and it was going through that shit, and it's still here. But as far as that shit over in the islands, that's just because they stuck in the past. You know, that's just like a lot of brothers leaving here and want to go over there to go get them old, you know, sensitive ass female or submissive female, but they don't know the white supremacy about to come over there too and fuck up that shit too. So it's like, you know, that's just they just in a different time frame than what's going on over here. And I definitely understood what the brother Alan was saying. You know, it's still you know, some show offism. So at the end of the day, like I said, we just all fucking confused. I yield the floor.
Absolutely. We got a new person on the panel. Tina, you there, famo?
Yeah, I'm here.
Give us your take on what you've heard thus far, or more specifically, the topic, colorism under white domination.
Well, I just joined, so I don't know what all y'all have talked about. So I don't want to can somebody give me a quick little just update on some of the things y'all have covered already?
Well, you can just everything we've talked about thus far is centered around the topic, colorism under white domination. Specifically, we're talking about here, right?
Well,
amongst
I mean,
us.
just my personal experiences. It's still alive and well, and we don't, and it's sad because by me being so light skinned, it's like I feel like I'm excluded from even trying to talk, when I try to speak about it, because everybody's so quick to say you don't know what it's like. And I mean, from birth, in all honesty, from birth, I have been ridiculed from my own family, friends. I never knew where to fit because I was so light skinned. So I remember growing up, and it actually really truly affected my life because I tried so hard to have Black friends, and they didn't like me because I was so light. And where I grew up was a predominantly white area, so I spoke very, very proper until I got to middle school. And so it was like, here I come, I'm this light-skinned girl. Then my middle school was predominantly Black and Hispanic. So I get to middle school and I'm so excited because it's like, finally, I can have Black friends. I'm gonna be around Black people. Me and my sister were so excited the first day of school when we got to our new school. And I got called white girl. I got teased constantly because the way I would dress and the way I would do my hair and everything. And so I remember trying to speak like everybody else, so I would overdo it. And I thought by me trying to be the hoodest girl in school and having the hoodest boyfriends and acting a fool in class and all that was being Black. And sadly, those are the stereotypes that we're trying to break. But I lived that life for so long because I was so ashamed of being so light-skinned and was so tired of getting picked on that I had to overdo it. And I messed my life up. I mean, I truly messed up a good 15 years of my life, and because I was trying to have Black acceptance. And so colorism on the other side is real, and it's so overlooked. And anytime we try to speak about it, it's like we're made to feel like we have no right. We because darker skinned women get ridiculed more often by, I would say, by white people. But the colorism within our own community is so bad that the average person doesn't even recognize what actually goes on inside of a light-skinned person's mind who doesn't want to be light-skinned, if that makes sense. Because there are a bunch of light-skinned people who, bad, yellow bone, all that bullshit. But I'm one of those light-skinned people that has hated my skin color since I was a child. My sister is brown-skinned, and she lit, in all honesty, to this day, she is elevated in my family because she's the brown-skinned one. My mother makes it no secret that she's the favorite. Oh, my little brown skinned baby. She looked like she got Indian in her. I mean, to this day, I'm 33 years old. My sister's 35. And my mom still makes my sister out to be the most beautiful thing she's ever laid eyes on. Whole baby books and stuff dedicated just to my sister. A guy I was dating, well, I want to say we were just talking. And my mother knew this. She knew how much I liked this man and wanted something to grow with him. My mom contacted the man and said, you would be great for my daughter, Gina. It's stuff like that I went through because I'm the light skinned one. They call me pale to this day. They call me pale. My mom puts her arm up to mine, be like, I'm darker than you. I'm like, I feel like I can't escape by being this color and being so pro-black too. And of course that led me into being so pro-black, but I've always been this way. But then I get picked on by people in the pro-black community. I've been in 2 relationships in this whole conscious world, and I was almost in a sense hidden because it looked bad on their part that they were so well known and so conscious, and they got this super light-skinned chick on their arm, you know? And so it was like they didn't really feel comfortable being in public with me. I have been through pure emotional hell by being light-skinned, and nobody ever wants to talk about the other side. Sorry, I'm even getting emotional talking about this, but I've never actually got to verbally express myself before. I've always felt like I've been muzzled when it comes to this topic. So I actually appreciate being invited on here to actually be able to say that out loud.
And we appreciate you coming to share.
I needed another.
Wait a minute, Alvin. Wait a minute.
We
appreciate you. We appreciate you coming to share that part, because that's something that Courtney was talking about. And you're right. That shit does get swept up under the rug amongst us. You know what I'm saying? I just gave an example earlier with Old God and Sarah Sudan Seti. You know, maybe he's overcompensating. I don't know. I don't know Seti. He's from the D, but we don't know each other. You know, hell, that shit comes from my family as well, Tina. You know, and the first one who put that in my head, I'm young as a motherfucker, didn't know a goddamn thing about none of that shit. But it was a Beth. It was my auntie calling me white boy. You know what I'm saying? Because it was more so dark brown to brown skinned people in my family, and I was a lighter brown, but I was lighter than them. You know? So we appreciate you coming and sharing that shit, Tina. You know what I'm saying? We need to speak more about that. And also speak about what Alan was talking about. You know, talking about defining blackness. You know, because we're going to have some issues with that shit. For me, I don't give a fuck about no blackness. I don't have black pride. I don't scream black power. That shit is a goddamn position. And it's at the goddamn bottom. Motherfucker don't give a fuck. If motherfucker police come around and say, all you niggers get out the car, and you got fucking so-called light skin and darker brown black people in that car, who the fuck we think gonna get out?
All right.
So, with that, I'm gonna go to Alvin. Go ahead.
Exactly.
All right. So let me remember. Okay. First, I kind of want to address the brother question about what we define as black. What's interesting is what we define as black is not based off skin color. It's based off phenotype. If you have a quote unquote something like a Negro,
what we base? No, we don't have a basis. We don't have a basis.
Wait 1 second, Alan. Let Alvin go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Then we'll come back to you.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that when people say black, they're generically talking about somebody with a Negroid phenotype, right? And if you have enough of what is
the Negroid phenotype?
Typically sub-Saharan Africa. So let's have a base root standard. Let's look like sub-Saharan African, like what you would see a Dinka tribe, right? With the big nose, the big lips.
I developed the system for it.
Alan,
what I'm saying is that was done before that.
Alan, 1 second, famo.
I'm sorry. I get excited.
I understand. We're gonna have a motherfucking dialogue, and we ain't gonna have no whole monologues, even though, you know, we speaking long and shit. But, you know, write your goddamn shit down. You know what I'm saying? I made a video about that. We need to practice that shit. Write our goddamn shit down, because I'm guilty of it. I forget what the fuck I was about to say. You know, you feel me?
Yeah.
But Alvin, go ahead and finish.
Alvin, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
No, that's all good. Yeah, so basically what you do is you start like at the most stereotypical Negroid person, which would be the very dark skinned, Bantu looking, big nose, big lips person, right? And basically, if your facial structure is close to that, you're going to be called black. And the further away your facial structure is from that, you're not going to be called black. So, for example, the brother gave a good example of the jet black Indian, right? The reason why we're not calling him black because he's not jet, because he's Indian. We're not calling him black because he has a more Caucasoid facial structure. You know, he doesn't have that more direct Africoid feature with the big lips and the big nose. He doesn't have that facial structure, so we wouldn't call him black. And then we go to albino, who's brighter than any white person. We're still going to call him black. Why? Not because of the color of his skin, but because you can see he has that Negroid phenotype or Africoid. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically, there's no set system, you know, and I understand there's gray areas to this.
No, but at the end of the day, man, what you saying, dude, it's basically confusion, man. Anywhere, look, all what you said, you just said it basically. And I hate to interrupt, but this is like basically, brother, what you saying is confusion.
Well, what I'm saying is it's not exact science, but if you show me somebody, I can tell you whether he's black or not in general, right? So you put up a picture, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's a black guy. Why? Not because of the color of his skin, but because of the phenotype he carries. It's the facial structure in general, right? And then
can I come in now?
I don't know if you're gonna. Well, maybe you can, because I did ask that question earlier off code, and maybe we'll get around to that. But you go ahead and let the brother respond to that. I'll fall back, and then I do want to hear what everybody got to say about that question I said. So
I'm with my man right here, because as far as the Indian being black, I'm the one who said that. Yeah, the Indian is as dark as anybody else. Now, what he's saying about the facial features and structures, man, I love it. What I'm saying is, I've developed a system to look at that. And so when the broadcast is over, anybody that wants to come to my page and see what I put down as far as how I determine who's black and who is not, you can come to the page and look at it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's no big deal. But I'm saying, dude is right. Dude is right. We're looking at, we got white folks have a system of determining who is black and who is not, right? And every single day that we walk out there on the streets and everything, when you meet a black person, you have to make the determination, like in 2 seconds, who's black and who's not. You have to do that. You do that all day, every day. We determine who's black and who's not with no DNA test, no nothing like this, no paper bag, no one drop rule and all that. When you look at a person, you know who's black and who's not, okay? So as far as fighting about who's light and who's dark, yeah, the police don't do that. And I'm done.
Bet that. Asir, you had something to say, famo. Go in.
I'm just saying, man, it's all that extra stuff is just confusion, man. Anything that white people has touched is only confusion. I mean, back in the day, whether it was black, white, mulatto. You know, now what we got, like, what, about 23, 26 different other motherfucking so-called races and shit? That's a position. The brother just said earlier, he gave a great example as far as all those other non-white people have a decision or a choice to go ahead and jump to that other side. You know what I'm saying? To that other position. And we don't. So that's all it is a position, a low ass position, and that's it. Because off code already brought up the definition of double think. You know, how the hell we brown people, but we say we black? How the hell we light? We yellow, we black, we peach, we olive brown. We don't even use these big ass other brown words or all these other colors to describe ourselves. We narrowed. They done narrowed us down. That we just narrow minded. That we just say black instead of actually calling ourselves by our real color. We don't even say reddish brown. All these allure of array of colors if we want to go off that, you know what I'm saying, that we could be calling ourselves, but we calling ourselves black, and that's just a position. You know? So that's all I got to say, and I yield the floor with that.
Dig it, dig it. We will go to K. You got something to say about what's been talked about thus far, famo?
Yeah, I agree with Sarah because I've heard it numerous times. Like they be like, "Yeah, my skin, yeah, it's because of the color of my skin, because I'm black, or I'm black as hell." Look at me. And it's like you can't be literally black. I have not ever seen that in my life, and I've never seen a white person that was literally white. So, to define what's black, it definitely would even be how we look. It's more so position because that don't even describe us, not even the shades that we are. So you got to be careful with that because it just doesn't make any sense. And we're the only people that speak like that.
Right.
You know what?
And we got to think about, since we know that black position, and we call ourselves pro-black. I said this on one of the last shows I had, and we call ourselves pro-black. That's basically we saying that we are pro the fucking position that we in. Think about that shit. We agreeing with being in the fucking position that we are in by calling ourselves pro-black. When you really think about it, and when you really break down what the word black, what they really calling us, they telling us our position, and if we are pro that shit, we pro the fucking position.
I made a video about that. Appreciate you even bringing that shit up and making me take a look at that. I think that was constructive. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go around and we're gonna come to a conclusion and shit. Conclude the motherfucking Facebook Live radio program. First we're gonna go to Alan, then we're gonna go to K, then Asir Rush. We had a few people drop off, but we're gonna do it like that, famo. Go ahead, Alan.
All right, so what we doing right now?
Oh, this is gonna be a conclusion, and we're gonna wrap this program up. Maybe
Oh,
we'll have a part two.
yeah. Here we go, man. Look here. No, black has never been a color. Okay, everybody can look at themselves and understand they're not black. All right, that's real simple, man. What I'm talking about is the white folks that run your life, that run everything, that run the skin bleaching creams, that run the jobs where the people get hired and do this, that, and the third. Okay, they understand that there's some light skinned niggas and some dark skinned niggas too. They know that. They get it. What I'm saying for black folks is, in order to keep the confusion down amongst ourselves, I don't think I believe that black folks think that when another black person is lighter, that they're closer to so-called white, okay? And that's the only problems that they got. The thing that I'm saying is we need to define what black is for ourselves. It can't be a paper bag test. It has to be with something that the brother was saying. When he was talking about the Bantu and everything, Cat was right on point, man. I'm saying it has to come from some type of basis because every white person knows who a white person is. They don't have no problems with understanding who the fuck their people are, right? So we need something like that in place, and if not, we're going to get another Rachel Dolezal, and everybody's going to be talking about, oh, she's a light-skinned bitch. In the meantime, in between time, we still stuck at the bottom. I'm done.
Appreciate that. KK Hype 6. Go in, famo.
I'll say we need to be very careful in the ways that we look at things because for so long we've been trained to just say things without thinking. And, a lot of times when I correct black people on the way how they use that word, especially when we go on to describe ourselves, saying, oh, yeah, it's because of the color of my skin, because I'm black. And when I correct them, they be like, yeah, you're right. But then they'll go back to doing it again. So it's definitely going to take some practice and some more understanding. Because as long as you don't make discernment when you talk, then in the language that you use, then Why people always keep you confused, because that's the way, another way or mechanism that they have used against us is language and words. So you definitely have to pay close attention to what you say and how you say it.
Absolutely. Let's see a rush.
Well, all I can say is in the great words of our elder, Nelly Fuller Jr., if you don't understand white supremacy, racism, everything you know only confuse you. That's it. Peace to the family.
Peace to the famo. Yeah, I think there's definitely was a lot of topics touched on, you know, for the famo out there. You're listening and shit for you to consider if you want to. You don't, hey, see how the streets like it, like fucking what that shit called, janky promoters. Throw it away. You know what I'm saying? That's up to you. Well, until motherfucking next time, we had a motherfucking live discussion, Facebook Live Radio. And we holler at the famo later and shit. Peace to the famo.
President, talk to him.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Why? 'Cause it belongs to fucking mine.
Everything is an illusion that you see with your eyes. See the third one is open and you see through the lies. Read between the lines, unveil the truth. Inspired with like minds and reveal the proof. Who controls this and who controls that? Symbolism being used, are you aware of that? Nope, you brainwashed from within. Disconnect from the matrix, let the programming in. Think I'm on some movie shit, then you're still plugged in. Microchip for your arm, you can check out 10. Yup. That one flew right over your heads, because I know half the planet is mentally dead or mentally slick. Zombies controlled by the beat. Not me, my Pinot clan is calcium free. Dig it, let the truth be told. It's worth its weight in gold. Some sell their souls just to know. Off code, off code, off code, off code, off code. Off code, off code.